Which one are we there? Hey, I think we are here. Yes. Are we going to stay? It's just one of those nights that things are just not being very nice to us here. All right, good evening and welcome. Thank you for sticking around. If you are watching us out there, and we're a few minutes late with tonight's virtual training, I apologize for that. We're having Wirecast issues. The Wirecast is the software we've been using forever when it comes to doing our live streams, and they decided to push an update out, which means that the old one is really working funky, and the new one, it says it won't accept my license because I've been, anyway, it's not working right. So we're going to get right to the show. Our first guest, we've got the gentleman who goes by the stage name of Don Carlo. Carlos, good evening, my friend.
What's going on? Thank you so much for having me on the show, John.
Yeah, thanks for coming on. So tonight's show is all about some of the folks who I've been kind of following and watching over the last few years who have really been having an eye for capturing elements from their events to do future marketing. Now, each person that we'll be talking to tonight has been doing a really good job with that. And Carlos, you've been doing you guys have been just doing a fabulous job with that. So let's kind of dive into that a little bit of how you guys have been able to kind of up that game when it comes to your capturing of video and images and different things like that. Let's talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, I think so when it came to video, since back in the days, we know video was the future. I remember when clients used to ask us, do you have videos of this? Do you have video of that? And then I remember back in the days, we didn't have any. So we knew we had invested time and to buy equipment and to learn how to use this proper equipment. So me and my fiance, we started digging into it. And I remember the first camera we got, we didn't know how to set up the settings. We just went out on everything. But we always go back and be like, how can we make this better? So we went out, throughout the time we have learned everything that we know now. YouTube has been a great little academy or a university where we can learn a few things. But yeah, it's always been about pushing ourselves to be great at video and transmitting with the world of what our events could be like. So the thing we try to do with our video content is capture emotions. What are people feeling when we are having, when we're doing their events? Pretty much just taking them on a journey with our music. And as DJs, we have a big responsibility to ensure people have a great time. And that, and the good thing is that we have music in our side. It's a great tool. But, with music, you got to invest also the time and the practice in order to master this tool. So together with video and music, we're able to capture these moments or people are just having a blast on the dance floor.
So it really is the videos that you put together that you're showing, your demo videos, are you kind of going like a chronological throughout the course of the night, or are you really just looking for that video clip or that moment where you've connected with people in there, you can just see it in their eyes that they're in a zone, for lack of a better way to describe it?
Yeah. So that's what we do. Yeah, pretty much we go back and be like, this was a good moment. And we just put it together. All these emotional parts where people were just having a blast. So it's not like pretty much the beginning to the end. It's just pretty much how the video will make sense. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, but we try to always capture these special moments where we can share with the world, especially, if, for example, someone can go back and look at that video and kind of relive that moment, especially for the bride and groom. Sometimes they're not able to be all in one place. So when they look at these videos, they're able to see something that they didn't see, or just live that moment.
Nice. So are you trying to get it from when you're shooting the video, you're having your fiance shooting, is she shooting it from a perspective of a guest at the event, or how does she look at her role in capturing this footage?
So it's good because we together we're a great team. So she knows, for example, like you said, she's able to look at it from a guest perspective, and she's like, I need you to like I said, raise the energy. So I'm able to, so it's time to like bring it up, so that's, I start pick mixing, whatever it is, whatever I gotta do in order to hype up the crowd. So then that way she can go in there and capture these moments. But I could also tell her, okay, I'm about to go into this type of music, and we know that people are going to do something to that music, and then she's able to go in there and capture same thing. Like, for example, the YMCA, right? I'll be like, hey, I'm about to go to the YMCA. Get ready. And then how she pretty much already has her angle where she's going to capture these moments where, again, it will look great on video.
So let's talk about that angle a little bit, because I think that's something that we sometimes overlook, because a lot of us will just put a camera on a tripod on the end of the stage. She's paying attention to those angles. What kind of angles is she looking at to get some of the fabulous shots that I've seen her get?
Yeah, she has to get up close. She pretty much she can't be outside the dance floor. Pretty much, she has to get in there for, if, like example, they have a little circle going on. She has to get inside the circle in order to capture the emotions that people are doing. Sometimes, again, they make a circle and they're breaking it down. They're showing their best moves. So she has to go in there and get up close. So people, again, and through videos, people can see those emotions.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
how much footage is she shooting at a typical event? I mean, this sounds like she's getting a lot, and a lot of that footage must just kind of end up on the cutting room floor type of thing.
Yeah, that's what it is. No, I mean, as soon as the dance floor opens, she's on it. So it could be up to 3 hours of footage. So she's a hard worker. She doesn't stop. Her arm hurts at the end of the night because she's been holding the camera for so long.
How about we'll kind of get into gear, but let's start it from the lighting side of it. How are you guys doing anything special to make it so that you're getting the best quality video with doing some lighting to help that?
Not right now. We're pretty much just going with our what's it called, Sony A65 in our 6 Sigma lens. Pretty much that we're able to modify it where we don't need no additional lighting. So these cameras are great at low light.
And that was, you mentioned when you first started out that you didn't know a ton about it. Did you start with that level of camera and just were learning as you go, or did you start with some other less expensive camera and then upgrade it?
Yeah, it was a less expensive camera. I remember it was a Sony A51. It's still with it was able to capture good quality at low light, but throughout the times we knew that we had to get a better camera. So that's what we invested now on the next model, which is the A65.
So what's more important, a good camera or a great camera, or a good camera and someone who understands how to run it?
You need both. It can't be just one or the other. You need both. It's not like great music and no skills. You need to have both. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it's a combination of everything. You gotta have a good camera, but you also gotta have the skills on how to when change the settings, how to move it, where to stand to get a good moment. It's not one or the other.
Now you did some remote location events where you guys were you were down in, when you were in Vegas. You did a video when you were in Vegas shooting there. Were you in Florida?
Yeah, I was in Florida.
Okay, so that's when you were on I think I saw some video with you on a beach in Florida. And you weren't swimming. You had the DJ set up all there. Tell us a little bit about how did you put that shot together, and how did that come about? So
first I had to purchase a battery in order to power up my DJ gear, and we use our phones. So and there it was a little bit easier because pretty much it's during the daylight, so we don't need additional lighting. So it was we use our camera that we use during the events, and the additional angles were just regular iPhones.
So did you have multiple people shooting that?
No, it was just me and her. So whenever she's like, okay, it's time to record, I will go ahead and press record on one iPhone, and she will go ahead and press record on the other iPhones. And okay, it's time to record now. So it was a lot of work, but it came out pretty nice. So.
Yeah, it really did. It really did.
Yeah.
So you got the footage. Let's just still focusing on that Florida beach footage. You've got 3 cameras worth of footage coming in there. What do you do with that once you get it back to the office?
So we go back and we go and synchronize them on Final Cut. That's the program we use. So again, my fiance she's pretty good now with Final Cut because she's been doing it for almost 3 years. So she has gotten good at a point where she can synchronize all those clips together. So we kind of know which. Because for these videos, it doesn't take only one recording. It could take up to 3 or 4. So we kind of gotta know, like, okay, this was the good one, and then from there she tries to match it, each clip that way. once they're all synchronized, then all she does just chop it in the program.
Carlos, do you have one of those clips handy, by the way, on your computer?
Not at the moment, but if you want, I can go on Facebook and just...
Yeah, if you've got one on Facebook, let's pull one up, and I want you to kind of show folks who haven't had a chance to check that out, if you wouldn't mind, because it's to talk about it and such, but then when they can see how everything comes together, it's really kind of a cool final product.
So you say you want to see the one,
the beach one, or the one from Vegas? Any of the little promo videos you guys have put together here.
Got it. Let me see if I have the one. Let's do the one from because I also did one in California on the highway one.
Okay.
So
yeah, any of them, because I would assume that it's a similar process with multiple cameras shooting, and you're doing the cool stuff, and then she takes it all and makes you look even cooler.
Let me see. Let me go
share
ahead
screen.
And
In the bottom there.
All right. Are you able to see this?
Yep. There we go.
All right. So let's go full screen, and then just there you go. So that's one angle, another angle, another angle, and then we use the drone for that.
Okay. So basically, you drove out to a location and set things up, and off you go.
Pretty much what you see right here with the ocean and stuff, that's what you call B-roll. Mm-hmm. So we record that before the I guess the set, but the other stuff is actually pretty, it's live.
Yeah. So now, what was what made you choose? Yep, we can't hear audio on that, which is fine. That's better. I'd prefer no audio on that because YouTube would flag it. So, what was to put this together? What was your initial plan? I mean, how did you script it, or how did you come up with the idea to do something like that?
We between me and my fiance, we want to make our videos just interesting. We want to make it pleasant for the ear and also pleasant for the eye. So because we have seen videos where you guys are just using one shot, and people probably just they see the video for maybe 5 seconds and they leave. So we want to make sure that when people look at these videos, they're able to engage and stay throughout the whole video. So we're always looking, again, we try to view it from the regular audience, or how can I make it interesting for them? Sure. So in this, for example, at California, a lot of people want to see also the big surf, the ocean. So that's why, I'm gonna show my DJ skills, but I'm gonna also show where we at. Mm-hmm. So yeah.
Now, you've done some video where you have done a DJ, kind of a demo of your skills and mixing skills in that. How do putting those together and getting that on video? Because the one that specifically, I sent you a message after I saw that one. It's like, that was really, really cool. It's not just turning on a camera and going. How did you?
Oh, no.
How did that all start and put that process together?
First, my fiance, she was like, I need you to put a video. I need you to work on a routine. She's my manager. She's the one that puts me to work. So, once she tells me that, I go back to my little studio, my little practice area. And I'm like, okay, what can I do, in this short period of time that people could make it, sound interesting in a way. So once I have the routine done, then I go back with my fiance. I'd be like, this is what I have. And then together we plan, okay, let's do this, let's do that. And then let's do this angle. And let me show you one, that way you guys have a better.
Yeah, exactly. I like it when we can talk about it and then you can show a little bit, because then it, for the folks out there, it kind of sinks in a little bit or makes more sense.
So let me go on this one here. So this is the latest one we did. So in this video, one of the things that we have witnessed and we have seen in our market, whenever I do videos where I incorporate both English and Spanish, our clients or potential clients, they love it.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why we are pushing ourselves to do these type of videos, because it gives them a little example that we can actually, mix both English and Spanish flawlessly. So
sure.
This is the reason why we did this little video and routine. But let's see. So here's right here in our living room. We added some little bit, lighting in the back, a bunch of angles, side angle. The both are iPhone, and the one in the front, that's actually our camera that we use at events.
So you've got three camera angles, yeah.
Three camera, yeah.
Yep.
So whenever I'm doing something, whenever I'm touching either the pads, that's where what's it called? The angle changes.
Mm-hmm.
See right there. I'm looking at there. I guess I'm just dancing, changing the knobs. But again, we try to make it pleasant for the eye, not just people looking at one angle and be like, okay, that's not really interesting.
And again, this was shot in the living room there, and it was something that she said, put together the set and we're going to record, and then she does the editing and puts it all together, and now you've got a promo video that can definitely show some of your skills.
Yeah, exactly. We did a video like this, I believe, a year ago, and it had gotten us so much leads. So
nice.
When people are looking for, I'm looking for a bilingual DJ,
mm-hmm.
and our name pops up on Google, then the client does all the research. They go on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and they found this video. They're like, oh my God, this is our DJ. And then go ahead and submit their information to our page.
Excellent. Now, you've done a lot of video things, and have you done just pretty much video, or have you done some things with photos also when it came to your covering events?
Photos, not much. We do the last picture of the night. They call them the survivors. So at the end of the night, we always ask everyone to gather around, and pretty much that's our trophy. That's saying how much people stay to the end. Because
mm-hmm.
a lot of times we have heard where by the end of the night most people left. So we push ourselves that by the end of the night we still have more than 50% of the guests there. So we take this picture showing everyone had a good time. But that's pretty much the only thing we do with pictures. We don't do much than that.
And it's really because the video, you're telling a story, and the video
exactly.
becomes so effective for you to tell those stories. That that makes a lot of sense, and that's why I wanted to make that, because there's going to be people out there like, oh, I take pictures all the time. Pictures are nice, but video is a step beyond, and you can do things with video and such. You mentioned your fiance has been Final Cut for working with it for 3 years. What kind of a learning curve do you think she had with that, where she went from, oh my gosh, this is a lot, to the point where she felt confident that she could really produce something that was really that she was proud of, type of a thing?
It was a struggle. It was a learning curve, and especially when you're working with your significant other, it could be a little bit bumps, because I remember at the beginning she did a little video, and I was like, "Yeah, that's not good." And at the beginning,
her heart like, "Yeah, that's just not good."
And then she got mad. She got mad, but we understood that we had to find ways to work together and not take these type of things like the feedback in the wrong way. So she was able to cool down after that, and she did some, again, through YouTube. YouTube has been our main source when it comes to like learning stuff like that. So at the beginning was not easy. It took her a while, but she took the challenge. She sat down, she analyzed it, and now she's able to do stuff flawlessly.
Mm-hmm.
She has a higher expectation of herself when it comes to Final Cut. She's not there yet, but I mean, for what we do right now, she does it. She does it pretty good.
Yeah, she's done a really nice job. And the learning curve. We use Final Cut Pro, and there's things that my children who used, they used it really at a high level before I started using it. So I know there's a learning curve, and having that ability to ask, say, how do you do this? And they could come, yeah. But it's a learning curve, because I bet it was 2 years before I would say I was even somewhat comfortable with it. Now I think I've been using it for 5, and I'm not even close to what the kids are yet. I mean, my boys can do, how many of you do want to be on the same screen at the same time with the same background and look perfect? What? What? No. It's fun stuff. So, Carlos, my friend, thank you for being on. We're gonna kind of move along here with the show this evening. But great stuff. And I again tip my hat to your fiance. She does a great job of making you look awesome, my friend.
Thanks.
Gang, we're going to take about a 2-minute break. Just stay right where you are. Go if you need to go grab a beverage. We'll be right back with Aaron Strawn in just a couple of minutes. And I need this video to go. Tonight's DJNTV show is sponsored by the following: DJ Event, Electra Voice, Max Photo Booth and DJ Booth Design, DJ Trivia and DJ Bingo, ProX Direct, NLFX Professional, Promo Only, Odyssey Cases, Perfect Portals, JMOZ Lighting, and Instant DJ Requests, along with the DJNTV Insiders at DJNTVtraining.com. Hey, we are back for our second session tonight on our virtual training night. Tonight, it's all about getting your stuff together, whether it's images, whatever, and you're going to be doing some things in marketing and really working in that angle. And all the guests tonight are folks who I've been watching do some things in the video and photo in different worlds, and they've been doing an awesome job. And that brought me to Aaron Strawn. Aaron, good evening, my friend.
Hey, John, what's up? Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, well, thanks for coming on. For those
Minnesota, let's go, baby, right?
That's right. He's just down the road for just a couple of miles. So
yeah.
So Aaron, you've been doing a lot of work with video and a lot of promotional things that you have been doing on your YouTube channel. And really wanted to kind of have you talk a little bit about some of the things you've been doing, because some of it has been aimed kind of at the DJ community, but I've seen some of your gig logs and things that are kind of aimed also for potential clients and things. So,
yeah.
So let's kind of take it from the early thoughts of when you're putting together things for a potential client.
Yeah, so YouTube, like when I started, like you said, my main goal was hitting DJs, because I had all this gear and I had all this stuff, and I'm like, I need to talk to, my wife she was like over it. She need to find people and talk to somebody else. I'm like, yeah, she do PRX one. She's like, I don't know what that is. So I knew there were people out there that watched this, and as I started doing gig logs, again, my audience was DJs, but then something happened. I got an inquiry or a lead from somebody that had played a venue that I had a gig log on. And I thought, oh, okay, I'll send them that and let's see what happens. Mm-hmm. Right? So I sent them my gig log from my video, and she wrote me back and she goes, I'm in tears. I saw the video and I saw people dancing and having a good time, and booked me straight from that.
Wow.
So that was when I realized, okay, I got to make sure that I'm not flaming any of these couples on my videos. You know what I mean? Because sometimes you get on there and you're like, oh my god, look at this venue, it's terrible, or the sound system sucks.
Did you see the schedule? Oh my gosh, how did they?
Yeah. Look, what are they thinking? A 4-hour dance? Come on, people, send them home. And that's kind of, because I was talking to us. Mm-hmm. But then when I realized, oh, this is a tool. This is definitely like a tool I could use to promote myself here locally as well. Like, not only hit up, other DJs, let them see what I'm doing, but couples. And then when it turned into not just one, but multiple bookings, I'm like, okay, now this is really benefiting me.
So when you talk about, obviously the tendency is when we like to complain about what, things are going on, but you had to make that change, and now everything's got to be in a positive light, whether it's at the venue or with the clients or whatever. How do you, to a point, decide what you're going to talk about when it comes to these videos and not sounding like it's the same old, hey, we had a great dance tonight,
right.
We all did the electric slide again, yeah,
Right, because that's boring,
yeah.
and I think that one of the things that I think maybe people like to watch in gig logs, and I even pulled my channel, like, what do you guys like? Do you like the setup? Do you like the gear talk? Do you like I like to do a recap afterwards. I don't just like to show the event. I like to talk about things that went wrong, ways that I screwed up, or funny things that happened too. So I try not to get on like anybody personally, you know what I mean? Like zoom in on someone's face, like, look at that. Yep. That a-hole right there. So I don't do that, but if something went wrong at the venue, like I did have a venue that I go to all the time that their sound system is not great for ceremonies. And I did mention that in the video because at the gig, I got called out by the father of the bride. He was like, the sound system's going to be better for speeches, right? And in my head, I'm like, that wasn't my fault. That was the venue's. But you know what? The venue manager, she was standing right next to me, and I'm like, I'm just going to eat this because I like them and I have a good relationship with them. So when I'm making a gig log, I let the camera roll, and I just kind of talk, and then I'll go through and cut things out. And if I feel like that might bite me in the butt later on, I'll pull that. But I also, like you said, John, like I want to keep authenticity. So I don't want to lose that, which I feel like is super important. I think even to people that watch him, if all of a sudden everything always went awesome and great and I love everybody, nobody wants to watch that. Mm-hmm. And I don't want to make those kind of videos. Yeah,
I would assume after a period of time that it would become a milquetoast thing. It wouldn't be effective for you in any way, shape, or form, because I would think some of those clients who watch that and come back are really refreshed having that truthful and maybe blunt way of describing what happened for the day, because not every day is perfect and not every situation turns out exactly as planned.
Or every dance is like a banger. You know what I mean? Like I like showing empty dance floors. I'd rather show that. It's a mix. I mean, if that's every video, it's like, I think this guy sucks as a DJ. So you don't want to lose your credibility on that. But there are moments or times where like, okay, so even like in a video, I'll use it as a teaching for me because like I'm still new at this. This is my 4th year in the game. This is my 4th year being a DJ, wedding DJ specifically. And so I'm still learning all the way, and I'm still making mistakes. And I think you're right. I think clients do like, okay, he's not perfect, but we still will have a rager, which is what we want.
Mm-hmm. How much of obviously you're having personality come through on your videos. Do you ever tone it down so that the video Aaron is different than the performer Aaron, or is it about the same, or do you have to adjust back and forth to keep one from overwhelming the camera?
I think it's the same. I try to be like, this is me. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? I think that how I am on my videos, that's how I am with my friends or people around, or even my family and my kids. It's more PG, obviously, when I'm around my kids, but no, it's me. And then when I'm on my Zoom calls with my clients, I hope this isn't diverting too much, but I like to, myself. So even like, you gotta read the room. You know what I mean? Yeah. If they're talking about a church wedding and they're talking about like having worship music or something during the ceremony, I'll make sure that I hide my drink and, I'll be a little bit more behaved for them. But if they're like sitting, like sipping a White Claw or wine, or like they're just kind of loosey-goosey, then I'll like match them and be myself to that degree. But I do like to be, myself there, because most of it is selling my personality. I think that's a big part of what a DJ is. It's not just we played music. I want them at the end of the night to feel like, we trusted this guy to run the party, and he ran it well. And it was, and the guests had a good time, and you know what I mean. So, yeah, I let them see me, and if they're into it, they're not. But most of the time, I'm booking. I'm usually closing 95% of people I meet. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. Especially if they've been able to see a little bit of you in advance. It's not like all of a sudden there's this shock that oh my gosh, you're completely different than what your brochure showed type of a situation.
Yeah. I think it'd be funny to like do a Zoom call with like really super long hair and whatever and like a beard, and then like show up like shaved and I'm like, hi, how you guys doing? Like, wait, what did that surfer guy?
Yeah,
Who's this?
Where did this dude come from?
Yeah, switch.
Send the other one. Let's talk a little bit about capturing footage at events for the gig logs that you do. How are you capturing and knowing what to capture when you do these events?
You know, when I first started, I didn't know. I would just figure from watching other videos. Like my first gig logs were very like what everyone else was doing. I was like, okay, I got to shoot the cake and the table, and you know what I mean. I have that nice B-roll, and then as I started to kind of make them, I want it to be more like my voice and my style. Then I sort of figured out what I like to shoot and what I want to get. And a lot of times I'm looking for things and that I can film that are more interesting than just dancing and me loading in and my gear. And I even have like next to the couple, I have my notes app up on my laptop. So as the night's going on, if something happens, I'll write it. I have like a little YouTube thing, and I'm like, okay, I got to talk about that. Like, for example, at my last wedding, something funny happened where they were supposed to do like a slideshow for the father of the bride, and the maid of honor and the wedding planner were trying to get this projector to work, and I'm looking at them, and they're just struggling, right? You could just see it. And so I wanted to wait one more minute so that when I wrote in, you know what I mean? They were like, oh, thank you. And that's what happened. I came in, I was like, you guys all right? What's up? Do you need any help? Like, oh, please help us. And I was like, what's up? And they couldn't get the remote to work on the projector, but what they were doing was pointing the projector to the floor so that the guests couldn't see what the screen was, but they were aiming the remote control at the floor like you would if it was a TV, right?
Yeah.
Which makes sense to them. Mm-hmm. But I saw that, and I'm like, right. So can I see the remote, please? And I gave it, and I started aiming at the projector, and then it moved because the TV's not on the floor.
Yeah, you're not bouncing a signal off the floor. And that's
exactly. And it's that kind, like as soon as that happened, I went back over and I like made a note and I kind of shot it. And so all I use is I bring a tripod with me, and I kind of do a mix of like try to catch stuff on my phone. I've got, it's one of the reasons why I always upgrade to the newest iPhone, because they are always making that camera better. And that's sort of important to me. And then I use the Canon, which I'm using for streaming right now, the Canon G7X Mark III, which is great for streaming and gives me great footage at the event. So I've got 2 batteries. I've got 2 SD cards to try to capture stuff. I'm thinking about picking up like a 360 camera. I've seen some other guys do that I feel like would be cool to like shoot the crowd and then like go back to me, I'll have to, you know what I mean? I have to see. I don't know how many guys are doing that, but that might get like I heard that other guy talking before me, like interesting angles, and he's right. Like, I don't think you want to set the camera up all night and just like shoot it. You got to get more things, and you got to do quick cuts and stuff like that.
And I think the 360 technology is advanced so much. I saw one that Jason Jani took just on a vacation. And it used to be that when we had the 360, because I've got one and I've done some trade shows with it, and you would have that dead spot right below it. And it's literally that they're so good now that you could see Jason, you could see his hand, you could see all the way around. I mean, it's like,
wow.
Wow. It was really impressive. So that technology.
You feel like you're there, right?
Yeah,
kind of feel like you're there?
Yeah, it's much more like that than it was in the past. And after seeing that, what he did, it's like, okay, this is something I've got to look at, because I've got a nice one. The Theta is what I had. And it was, at that time, it was the best one, pretty much, without going thousands of dollars. But, oh my goodness, that's an area where, like everything, technology advances.
Shoot the venue, you know what I mean? Like, try to get shots of that, especially if you're looking at that being sent to clients. They want to see the thing, like the ceremony, and they want to see like how that looks in action with people filling the seats, and like you actually, where you're there. So I look for stuff like that. I look for things to shoot that would be interesting, even maybe for a bride and groom to see, or the couple to see, at their space outside. Like I was at, you ever played at Pinewood? Have you ever been up there?
Not sure. There's so many pine different.
That's true.
There's so many pine.
This one has like, it's pretty new, but they have like these honestly like 50-foot pine trees everywhere. It was absolutely amazing, and the outdoor ceremony space was just gorgeous. So I wanted to shoot that. You know what I mean? Like stuff that. But here's what's funny: DJs don't give a rip about that kind of footage. When I look at my analytics, that stuff gets skipped. That's the stuff where people are like, I don't care. Get to dancing. Get to the dancing.
Yeah,
Let's get to it.
dancing. Show me more.
You can see that dip. You know, I see the dip. Like, wait, that must have been B-roll. And I look, I'm like, it was. They don't care about the venue.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
Fast forward. Good.
yeah, exactly.
So when you are putting these videos up, I've seen them on YouTube is where I've seen most of them. Is that where most of the clients that you have, the leads have come in? Are they coming in from that angle where they found you there? Or are you also putting them in different spots on different social media platforms?
No, I haven't really, honestly, I haven't gotten any leads from YouTube yet. I don't know if couples are, and I would be interested to know if there's DJs that are grabbing people that way. I just don't know if they go on YouTube and search wedding DJ near me, and I don't know if even I would pop up, you know? Yeah. So I think right now, no, nobody's getting leads. But what I'm doing is if I get a lead and it's a venue, I'll go back in my back catalog and be like, oh, I've played there, and I'll send them something like that. Or I'll show you this. Can I show you this picture that I took?
Yeah. Let's look at some things. Yeah, it's tough to do a show and tell story if we aren't showing.
And this is a tip, guys. You know, I recently saw a cattle call on Facebook. You know what I mean? Where it's like, I need a DJ, and all of a sudden, like, 50,000. Oh, I'll do it. So a lot of times I'll pass over those, but there was one I saw, and I was like, oh, I've played there. So what I did was I DM'd her, the person that was asking her, and I said, hey, what's up? I saw you're looking for a DJ in the area, and I have played at that spot. And then I sent her this picture. I don't know if you're able to throw that on.
Oh yeah, looks good.
And this is the Ivory North in Minnesota, and that's a spot where these guys were doing a choreographed dance to Time of Our Lives. It was awesome. Like they worked this whole thing out. And this was where she ran and jumped in his arms, and I snagged it, right? I snagged that picture. And I sent her that with my contact information. And she wrote me back, like, immediately and was like, oh, my God, that picture's amazing. I love the fact that you've been there before. And so, we're booked for a consultation to come up to do that shortly. So, that kind of stuff, having content is king, right? I mean, you have to, if you got Instagram, you got to update it, put your stuff up there, find interesting pictures. When I first started, I was just posting first dance pictures. Just, it's boring. You know what I mean? There's just nothing to look at. Yeah. And that's just scrollable. You gotta put something up there that people want to stop it and look at.
So that picture that you just showed, now that was shot with your iPhone, or was that shot with the camera?
My iPhone.
Yeah.
And then I put a filter on it and cropped it to, to like look kind of cool or whatever. But yeah, so right away, I mean, couples, they love it. They love it if you've been to their place before. I mean, you'd notice that too, right?
Oh, for sure.
Sure. So if you've got video, then that works. Then speaking of video, I had a videographer. I think one other way you could capture content is building good relationships with the videographers and the photographers that are at your event. And like, that's key to me. So when I see people complaining on Facebook or whatever, like, no, the photographer put her bags back by my, like, you are, do you understand? Like, that is a person that will get you so much business if you just let them, if you're just cool, you know what I mean? So right away, we love to follow each other on Instagram, and we'll like have dinner together. And then I let them know, hey, if you snag anything cool of me, I give them my card, I'll pay you, whatever. And it doesn't happen all the time, but it does happen where they'll tag me on Instagram with a picture, or they'll email me something, and I got to show you this video, dude.
Yeah.
This videographer I made a contact with made this video. I didn't even ask her to do this, and then she sent it to me. Are you cool? Can I share? Can I show you this?
Yep. We can look at the video as long as there isn't audio with it.
I don't think there is. It's okay. So, oh wait. There is. I don't know how to make. Can you hear it?
Yeah, just a little bit. Just take that left right there. Yep, just drag it. There you go. We're perfect.
All right. I'm with you. I don't want YouTube flagging me, demonetizing my videos. I got you.
Yep.
So this was a wedding I did. I'll talk over it. I guess. A wedding I did last year, and at a hotel. And then she just sent me this clip, and look how dope this is, dude.
So you had no idea she was doing this really until you
No.
got the video.
Yeah, send it to me. She cut it. Like, I've had this done before where videographer, like the video on my website was raw footage sent to me, and then I cut it, but she ended up cutting all this. And I was like, hey, if you want to use this, here you go. I'm like, if I want to use this, this is gold. Look how dope this is.
Yeah.
And sent it to me, and I popped it up on Insta and tagged her. And this is going to be my new video for my website. So, listen, I didn't even make that.
Yeah, no, that looks absolutely fabulous, and even kind of going back to what Carlos was talking about, showing the emotion, and you got the bride, the happy bride that's playing and out there on the floor, and you're seeing smiles and kids out there handing things. She did a wonderful job of making that edit to do that or tell that story.
It does. That gets you booked right away. That's what people want to see. That's what they want, and so that kind of stuff is just priceless.
Yeah. Excellent. So now, taking that video, now how are you going to utilize that in your marketing?
Yeah, I think I ran it as a Facebook ad. I did that. I've put it on Instagram, and then I will use that for upcoming stuff. Like if I'm at a trade show or a wedding show, I may have that looping on a TV or something in the background, just to give people a visual of you out, a good party, which is what that was, what that looks like. So yeah, and then just giving the credit to the artist. So anytime I try to post it, I always tag her, the person that did it, to throw business her way, because she said that to me for free.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you definitely want to give her a little bit of a shout out with that. That's for sure. So let's talk a little bit more about the gear that you use when you're capturing. You mentioned the iPhone, you mentioned the camera. Why did you go with a specific camera that you did? Was there a one you used before and then you graduated to this, or how did you come up with that?
This one had really good reviews for vlogging. Like, a lot of vloggers used it because it has the screen on the back flips up, and so that's nice. So you can kind of use it. I usually put it on, and I have it even on it right now, like a little holdable tripod. But I use this as well. I use a microphone that will plug into it to just, again, capture better audio, and it's got a windscreen on it, so if I'm outside, it just makes sure the audio sounds cleaner, sounds nicer. The built-in mic does work, but when I use that, my audio just sounds so much better while I'm there. So I think that's super key. You want to make sure your audio sounds good when you're doing this as well. But yeah, this camera, and it's like user friendly. I'm not like super familiar with DSLR, but it does have like the bokeh, which is like blurry background, so you can adjust that. But it it's pretty simple, and I've only dropped it one time, which is good. And I dropped it with the lens open. I'm like, oh no. And all I'm thinking is like, oh, $800? No. But I somehow was able to get it to work again. So it's pretty, it can take a beating. But the stuff I'll use on my iPhone is stuff I got to grab like really quickly, or I'll shoot vertical stuff maybe that I'll put on Instagram. So stories are big too. During an event, I'll pop a bunch of stories up during my weddings, because I have a lot of my couples that follow me on that. And I mentioned that during consultations, like, hey, let's follow each other on Instagram. I want to see when you guys get a new dog, or if you moved or whatever. And then I want you guys to see me working. And it does. I look at my stories. I have a lot of, it's cool, man. Like, even brides I've already done weddings for, like, they still watch my stuff. So staying connected that way is really big. Sets you up for success, I think.
Oh, it certainly does. I think it really does, because then you're top of mind, or at least they're like, okay, I remember I've been seeing Aaron's stuff here, and then they can go back and find you much quicker than, who was our DJ again?
Right.
Yeah.
I showed up at a wedding, and my bride was like, Aaron! You know what I mean? Like, I love that, because when I first started, I worked for a bigger company that just sent you, they just sent you out. I didn't know who these people were. They didn't know me. There was no trust built. But when you connect with your clients on social media like this, and you like, or when they're doing stuff that propose to the wedding or whatever, there's a relationship that's built, and it just makes the day just feel a lot better.
Yeah, certainly does. Certainly does. Let's jump back to the iPhone. Capturing audio. You mentioned a shotgun mic on the camera. What are you doing to capture audio? Anything special with the iPhone, or is it just what the unit itself?
Mostly, no, just mostly the unit, and that would be video is mostly for Instagram. I don't use a lot of video shot on the iPhone for my gig logs or anything like that. It would be for pictures. I'll snap on that.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's always they've got great cameras, but if you've got ambient noise, they're not so great for.
Not so great. No. I do have that smart mic. Have you seen that? It's like a little. It's a Bluetooth mic. I think it's called Smart Mic, MIKE,
or something like that.
Yeah, it'll clip on your shirt. So and that's Bluetooth. So if you didn't want to buy a camera, you could use your phone and just get something like that. I would suggest doing that because you don't want your audio to sound all bouncy and echoey and tinty. You know what I mean in your videos.
Yeah, the Saberneck or something like that. I think it's a company that makes one of the first ones that came out. And Rachel, I know she did a couple of reviews, and then she did a tutorial on how to work with those. And they're a neat little thing.
Oh, definitely. Yep.
So, well, excellent. For people who want to check out the YouTube channel, I should have had the link. Do you have a custom URL on that?
Yeah, that's my name. Okay. So if you guys just if you like this and you like me, then just find my channel. My name's Aaron Strawn. It's on YouTube that way. I normally do gig logs. I just did a live stream the other day. I like doing those. Those do not grow my channel though, bro. I don't know what's up. Live streams are interesting. I'm still trying to maybe figure it out. But the thing is, I like doing them. They're fun. I like kind of interacting with people in the community. So gig logs and then gear review. I'm always buying stuff. So if you want a review on it, I probably have it. It's ridiculous. I need help. Somebody help me.
And let's talk about your wife's thoughts on that.
She's just like, more speakers, Aaron? Oh my God. Like, how do you need more speakers? I'm like, well, this one's got a pole. This one's got a DSP. I don't care. Stop buying speakers.
Why is UPS coming down the driveway again? Why?
They know me by name. They're like, oh, this guy.
Yeah.
And then, got to bring a dolly. We're going to Strawn's house again. I'm always buying that stuff, man. It's crazy.
Oh, funny. Good stuff. Aaron, thank you much for being on tonight. We're going to bounce along here to our next spot in just a little bit. So link for Aaron's YouTube channel is in the comment section there. So you guys can go out and click on that and subscribe to his channel because he's got a lot of great stuff out there and gig logs and some gear reviews and just a lot of fun stuff. So
thanks, John.
Aaron, thanks for being on tonight. And gang, we'll be back here in just a couple of minutes with Jim Cerone. Tonight's DJNTV show is sponsored by the following: DJ Event Planner, Electra Voice, Max Photo Booth and DJ Booth Design, DJ Trivia and DJ Bingo, ProX Direct, NLFX Professional, Promo Only, Odyssey Cases, Perfect Portals, JMOZ Lighting, and Instant DJ Requests, along with the DJNTV Insiders at DJNTVtraining.com. All right, we'll be getting Jim Cerone up here in just a couple of minutes. I wanted to take a little time because the Disc Jockey News, we came back with a print edition here in February of 2020. We're coming out with 4 quarterly editions, and they're going to be coming out the second month of each quarter. You can go to DJNTV.com/subscribe. So it's DJNTV.com/subscribe. I'll put that into the comment section right there. That is where you can go to subscribe to the new print edition. Now, we changed things from the original newspaper where it was the full newspaper thing. It's a lot more like a comic book type of a thing where it's a bound, stapled thing. And it gets mailed out. The May issue just went out, so you guys are going to be seeing the May issue in just a couple of days for a lot of you, and it's kind of an exciting time to be able to get something in print. It's 32 pages, and we've got generally about 25. I think we had 25 articles in this month. So jump out to djntv.com/subscribe and join us with the next issue will be our August issue. All right, we are back for our third session tonight at the DJNTV training night, and I am joined by the one and only Jim Cerone. Good evening, Jim.
Hello, John. How are you?
I am doing well, doing very well. It's great to be able to do a show here with you here. It's been a while since we've done a live show together.
It has been. Haven't seen you in person in forever. We'll have to remedy that.
Goodness, yeah, it's been a long time. I hear there was something that came up. I don't know what it was, but it's another show for another day. So, Jim, we're talking about marketing, taking shots and being in that mindset to be able to get incredible shots, like the one over your shoulder right now. Or actually, you're coming to us live from the venue, I'm sure. That's it.
Of course.
But you've got over the years, you've had such a great catalog or portfolio of photos and things you've captured at your events, and I really wanted to have you kind of tell us how you've been able to do such a great job of capturing these images and moments.
I'm happy to do that, John. I actually was interested in photography for a long time. I took classes in high school and college, and I kind of paid my way through college DJing parties and taking pictures. This used to be, it's kind of hard with the
in front of you, just hold
the
it in
background.
There you go.
This is a DSLR, digital single lens reflex camera. And I used to carry one of these around with film. That goes back how far I go back. And I knew how to develop. I worked in the dark room and knew how to do all the developing and the burning and dodging and the exposure and all of that. So photography is in my background, and that really helped inform a lot of what I do to market my business.
So you had that background, and then when you got into the digital realm, how did that knowledge? I mean, did it apply one for one type of thing, or was it like, okay, I know the things I can do on film, and now I have to relearn it with digital?
You definitely have to relearn it with digital, and that went in stages. I remember when the first digital images were really pixelated, that the memory was very small for each picture, and you really couldn't get good shots unless you had a really good digital camera. And this has a manual zoom where the actual optics move, the lenses move as you zoom in and out. Well, with digital cameras, that was done, the zooming is done digitally. And because it's not an actual glass lens, the image degrades the more you zoom in. Well, of course, iPhone cameras have advanced a lot, or Samsung, or whatever, name your poison phone. The technology has certainly leapt forward, but the basics are still the same. And so if it's okay with you, I'm going to just kind of jump in and talk about
please.
some of the photography basics.
Yes, that's great. Thank you.
One of the most important things is called composition. It's how you compose the frame, whatever you're going to put in the frame, what you want to show. Composition is a fancy term that they use in photography, but it really still relates to everything we do today. It's what are you focusing on? What is the subject of the photo? You can crop it later, but again, the more you zoom, the more you crop. You want to be close to your subject. Mm-hmm. That's the first rule of photography, is get close to your subject. You don't want to be far away. So if we're DJing, and if you work solo, if you work duo, obviously it's much easier. But if you're solo, and as I was last Saturday, if your back is against the wall yes. and all the action is happening way out there in front of you, you have to get out from behind your DJ booth and get close to the action. So filling the frame with your subject is the most important thing. So many people, and you see these pictures on Facebook that your friends or family post, you see the people you're supposed to be looking at, but they're everything is way too far away. Yes. So the most important thing is to fill your frame with the subject. Starting, that's step one. Another thing for what we do is you want to show faces. You want to we're drawn to faces and expressions. We don't want to see this, which is what I see a lot of DJs take pictures of.
Yes, that.
Somebody's back. You don't want that. You want faces whenever possible. And then you can get fancy with different angles. I took a lot of film classes in high school and college too. And one of the things that you'll see in certain films is they shoot from above to make a subject seem very small. And they do that for a lot of reasons. They want to make that person seem insignificant or weak. And then if you want to show a powerful person, you put the camera low and you shoot up. You have that angle, and it makes Clint Eastwood look even taller. Or pick your action hero.
Yeah,
Tom Cruise is always trying to make himself look taller. So next time you watch a Tom Cruise movie, look at how many times the camera is below him, trying to make him seem taller. So you want to have different angles. You don't always want to be directly straight on somebody. You want to change the angle occasionally. And then lighting is a whole nother discussion. We could spend an hour talking about lighting.
Sure.
You see photographers at your events. What surprises me is how many photographers did not start with film. They don't know the basics of photography. They just decided they were going to be a wedding photographer one day. And they'll say something like, "Can you bring the lights up in here?" Because they don't know how to use light. Mm-hmm. They don't know how to use flashes. They don't know how to use aperture and f-stops and all of the really complicated stuff that most people just, put it on auto and shoot like that. That's not what real photographers do. They use all of the capabilities of the camera. So lighting is really important. People make the mistake of putting a window behind their subject because they want light. Nope. You want to do it the exact opposite. If you put somebody in front of a window, it's going to silhouette them. They're going to be all dark, and the light from the window is going to overpower it. You want to turn it around. You want to be by the window. You want the subject standing close to the window, and that you get that wonderful, flattering, natural light. In my studio right now, I have 2 LED lights that are lighting me up, so that it's a softer kind of a look. It's not really harsh. Now, when I do this and I take the filters off of the lights, now suddenly it's really bright and harsh. So I actually have filters in front of my lights. Mm-hmm. So understanding light and how light acts and how you can take advantage of it to make it the most flattering, because that's what we want to do. We want to show flattering pictures of brides, of her mom, of everybody at the party. So you have to understand at least the basics of lighting. You want soft light, not direct, harsh light. if you have a filter or a scrim that you can put in front of it, so you really get this nice soft light. So that's kind of photography basics. That's where you have to start, no matter what you want to take pictures of or how you want to market. You have to understand just some basics. Fill the frame with the subject, shoot people's faces, not their backs. Change the angle a little bit. Don't always take the picture the same way, the same time, and understand lighting and how important that is to get those good shots. The second thing I wanted to mention is what kind of camera. And a lot of people ask me that. This is a Canon T6i, and I don't carry it anymore. It sits here in my office. We have a very interesting business model because we want to get referrals from venue managers, from wedding planners, from photographers, and from videographers. And I used to take this with me all the time until one of my friends took a picture with me in the background, one of my photographer friends, of this. So here I am behind my DJ booth, and I've got this with the flash on and everything. And it really, that was when I stopped carrying a DSLR.
Sure.
Because there's a fine line. We're not there to capture the event, to sell pictures to the couple or to the mitzvah client or the corporate people. We want to capture it quickly so that we can advertise, but we don't want to look like a photographer.
Yes.
And I think that's, it really can cut into your referrals, and it just is not a good look. We're supposed to be focusing on the dance floor and keeping people going. And the most convenient way to do that now is with our phones.
Yeah.
And very quickly you can do this. I almost never am looking at my camera when I take a picture. I'm holding it up or out, and I'm just snapping. I can take a whole bunch of pictures and then stick it back in my pocket. And now I've got my headphones on again and I'm mixing. So I think that's really important. We don't want to be seen as photographers. We don't want to get in their way. We don't want to ruin their shot or be in the background of their shot, as I discovered with my friend's picture.
Yes.
One of the important things, though, if you're not going to use a DSLR or a GoPro or a dash cam, there are ways that you could do something like that where it's mounted to your booth, and you could have a GoPro that just records constantly, and you can maybe use that footage because it's very unobtrusive. You're not interrupting anything or getting in the way of anything. So I think that's another motive that you could do. But if you're going to use a phone, which is what I suggest now, because it's very unobtrusive, you can get it out quickly, take a picture and put it away. You want to buy the best available phone. And this is one of those things where your DJ business is a business for a reason, because you want to have write-offs. And a phone to capture marketing materials is absolutely a write-off. It's an advertising expense.
Yes.
So buy the best camera phone you can. The iPhone is what I prefer because the low light capability of an iPhone is really incredible. Again, some people may like Samsung or other models, but you want the best possible camera with really good low light capability, because that's what we take pictures of.
Certainly, yeah. Most of our situations are that way. Are you using just the regular camera app on the phone, or are you using something else?
I'm using just a regular camera app.
Okay.
And the iPhone and the phone editing capabilities of an iPhone are incredible. And I'm going to get to that, how we edit once the shot's captured. I'll talk about that in a second.
Sure.
So definitely go with the best low light capable camera, the best phone camera you can. And don't skimp on memory. You don't want to be in the middle of a great event and run out of space on your phone.
No.
So buy the largest memory you can. Of course, you can have a cloud account, but just go ahead and spend the money to get the best phone camera you can. The video quality of an iPhone in low light is unbelievable. So all of this is just continuing to advance and get better. And so that's something that will only improve. But start off with the best thing you can.
Yeah.
So, and then in terms of what to capture, that's that's an interesting thing, and I know you see this too. What are you marketing? What is the purpose of your marketing? Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter, Pinterest, your blog, your Google My Business page, all of those things. What's the purpose? People want to see fun events.
Yep. They
don't want to see you. And this is where I differ from a lot of DJs. You will very rarely see a picture of me. I'm letting a bride put herself in my pictures. I want her to see what her party will look like. Gear is really cool. We love our gear. We love having neat gear. Brides don't care. And if you're just showing your gear every single week, she's not going to follow you. She's not going to like it. She wants to see how you're moving the crowd, the excitement, the fun. And that's a difficult thing about having a DJ business. It's hard to put into words what the fun is.
Mm-hmm. Certainly.
Pictures do it, but not pictures of us, not pictures of our stuff. So what to capture is one of the most important things at each event. And again, because I don't know, if we're working every week and we're posting pictures constantly, if it's very similar, it becomes wallpaper. I don't know if you've heard that expression.
Oh, yes.
If you always take a picture of the cake, and that's becomes your thing, or you always take a picture of the sign out front. And I fall into that trap sometimes.
Oh, yes.
But stop yourself and go, oh, I did that last week, or I did that 2 weeks ago. Always look for a unique element. And every wedding usually has something, some unique thing that makes it different. So don't always post the picture of the place card table or the gift table, or look for something unique and different that the bride have done. Sometimes they use, instead of table numbers on each table, they've done places they've visited, or
Yes.
they have trivia questions, or
Yep.
that would be unique and different. So first of all, look for something interesting and unique and different. Then with photo and video, and what's funny is how quickly, John, you and I have seen, Facebook has been around for about 13 years now. When Facebook started, it was all text.
Mm-hmm.
There were no photos. You certainly couldn't do video. It just has progressed so quickly. And now Instagram and all of the other options of places that we can post. One of the most important things, if you're shooting video, and if you're using your phone, I always hold, when I'm doing video, I usually hold my phone with two hands. If you have a Steadicam, if you have a selfie stick that has the gyroscope in it,
Yeah.
that holds it steady. But nobody wants to see shaky camera work on video. And nobody wants those swish pans,
Yep,
they
those
call
quick-
them,
Yes, yes.
that make you sick to your stomach.
There you go.
So if you're capturing video, hold it steady, and don't do a lot of fast movement. Don't do swish pans. Then in terms of how to edit photos and how to edit video,
Mm-hmm.
photos, one of the most common things that I have to do is brighten them. And that's one of those things, again, because of my photography background. Photography is broken down into so many different things. There's contrast and shadows, there's exposure, there's they call it brightness. There's so many editing features in your camera. One of the quickest ways to make a picture better is to pull out the shadows. So I use shadow a lot as an editing tool. That will brighten the image without distorting it, without making it overexposed. That's when things start to lose the detail. You start to lose the focus by bringing the exposure up too high. But the shadows does that and lets you see people's eyes, people's smiles,
Yes.
as you bring the shadows out. Remember, though, when you're editing, if you're editing on your camera, so many of us, to save energy on our phone, have the brightness level of our phone turned way down.
That's a good point.
So you may be editing and it may look bad or good depending on what your brightness level of your phone is at. So make sure that you have that fixed first, and then I use shadows first, contrast second. That's one that I will adjust. And then exposure last, because exposure, again, is either going to make it really bright or really dark.
Mm-hmm.
But there's some other editing features. Shadows and contrast are the ones that I go to. In terms of how much to capture, I find myself capturing way too much. So I would try to train yourself to take less, to capture less. Then you'll have less editing to do, less searching for the right photo. Some people do spray and pray, they call it, where you just, you hear the camera go,
and hope one
that's a photographer who doesn't know what they're doing.
Yeah.
They're spraying and praying. You know where the best parts of songs are. You know when people are going to throw their hands up, when they're all going to be singing. Everybody's hands go up and they stay there. Okay, that's a great picture. That's where you want to shoot. You don't want to shoot the verse before or the second verse. You want to shoot the part Sweet Caroline, ba, ba, ba. You know when the hands are going to go up. Hands, touching hands. Those are the times you want to shoot and capture. So if you end up with 1,000 images, you're never going to use them all. You're going to miss the really good one. So start by filming less and do short clips of video. What I try to do is, as I take pictures, I will just delete the ones that I know aren't good during the event if I can. And I know all of this sounds like you have to walk that line of capturing or entertaining. And we're always entertainers first. I work alone. Lots of people like Jason Jani's SCE, Jeffrey Gold, just have crews of people that know how to get all these shots. And they have more than one person at the DJ booth. It's always been just me. I know Randy Bartlett scolds me for not having a second person. Bill Herman, it's always just me. But when you're capturing things, try to capture less, especially video. Again, you know where the clip in the song is that you want to capture. Just shoot those 5 seconds. Just like we quick mix. Last Saturday, I had a wedding where I had about 2 hours, but I had about 5 hours of requests that the bride and groom wanted. So I was quick mixing. I was playing 45 seconds of a song and going into the next one. That's the same thing you're going to do with your video clips. I'm going to encourage you not to post long video clips, but to post a bunch of short ones.
Sure.
And it's really hard to edit on your phone, edit video clips especially. So if you can airdrop to your computer, if you have a second person helping you, it's much easier to edit your video in something like iMovie. I know some people have Adobe or they use Sony Vegas. There's lots of other editing software. Yeah. For me, iMovie is very powerful and easy and quick to learn. So now you've captured everything. You know the basics of photography. You've decided what to capture, what to post. And this is where, again, some people go way overboard. Less is better when it comes to marketing your business. You want one incredible picture rather than 15 or 20 average shots of just stuff. One picture, they always say it, a picture is more powerful than words. It really is. So post one really good picture, maybe 3 or 4. We've all seen how Facebook and Instagram have changed the composition, the posting style. They're now asking you, what do you want to use? Do you want to use the kind of the slender format of 4 pictures? Do you want to do a classic format? You want the best possible pictures. So really being your own editor is the hardest thing, knowing what to leave out. Which shots are really just not that good, which shots are incredible. So less is better. And when it comes to video, an amazing 15-second video is much better than a 60-second video that just goes on too long. Don't post anything on social media longer than 60 seconds unless it's the biggest, most unbelievable part you've ever done. Or save it for your blog. And I think a lot of us forget about our blog. SEO people will tell you blogging is still important, that for search engine placement, and especially posting regularly on your blog, just post the same things you're posting everywhere else. You've got the images, you've got the video, just put it on your blog too. Sound matters. It's really important that you have the best sound capable. So don't cover up the microphone on your phone when you're filming. Make sure that you're holding it this way so that the mic is not covered up. If you're going to do any shooting of you speaking, get yourself a $25 lapel mic. If you watch Bill Herman on his walks or Alan Marshall on his walks, they have very small, unobtrusive lapel mics. That's going to give you much better sound than the mic on your phone, which is, 10 or 15 feet away from your face. Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. Don't overlook LinkedIn. I booked a wedding last week because of somebody saw a post I did on LinkedIn. Pinterest, your YouTube channel, Wedding Wire, Zola, The Knot, anywhere you have a profile, keep adding fresh images. I mentioned your blog, and then Google My Business is apparently going away, but until it does, keep posting there because it all helps your SEO. So I want to wrap up. Some people ask me how I get incredible group shots at the end.
Yes.
Somebody asked today if I take the picture at the beginning or the end, or how I get that. I create them. I make that photo happen, usually at the very end of the night. And this is, again, one of those things with the photographer, you want to work together as a team, not against them. If the photographer has stayed till the end, and I usually know that in advance because I do a lot of homework, if they're there at the end, then I say, okay, I play the finale. We do this great final song, which I plan in advance with the couple. Nobody at my wedding says, one more, because I've given them an incredibly energetic finish. You can't get better than this. Everybody knows this is the end. And then as everybody's applauding, I'll say, congratulations, Susie and Joe, gather around and face me for a big group picture, or face Jessica, the photographer. She's going to capture this. All of the diehards that stayed till the end. Everybody okay? 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Now cheer. 1, 2, 3. And you get that incredible picture at the end of everybody cheering, gathered around the couple. So you just create it, but work together with the photographer, videographer. If they're still there, don't get in the way. Ultimately, we're hired to entertain. That is what we need to focus on. We're not photographers or videographers. We want referrals, so we want to work together with them. We don't want to compete or get in their way. But we do want to capture how much fun people have at our events.
Oh, certainly.
And I hope these quick tips are helpful.
No, great stuff, Jim. Great stuff indeed. So, software for photos. What are you using to edit that one? You didn't hit on that one. You've talked video software for editing, but you didn't really, like, if you pull them into your computer, what are you using for that?
I'm an Apple and a Mac guy, and I know some people are very Windows oriented. To me, Apple provides, what makes Apple so great is they were really made for the arts, for audio, video, photo. They always have been. So I use the software that comes with. I use iPhoto or Photos now. In my phone, the photo editing app of an iPhone 10, 11, 12, 13 is just amazing. So I just use the Photos app, whatever comes with it from Apple. And I love iMovie. iMovie is so easy to use. When it comes to videos, with doing short clips, another reason to do short clips and do like a 15-second highlight reel is you won't get taken down for copyright if you're only using 5 seconds or less of the hooks of a song. So put a bunch of short hooks together, and now we have to be careful. Some people are polarized by certain songs. Oh, I hate that song. Oh, I love that song. Your chances are better of them liking it if you have, quick clips of 5 or 6 songs.
Yes.
So I love iMovie for that. It's so easy to use, and to kind of do it almost like you're beat mixing music. If you know which songs you've done in the 128 BPM range, you can hit them so they're on the downbeat. So they're literally like, you're sound editing in addition to the video.
Yeah, and again, iMovie is such a great tool, and it is part of the Apple with your computer. That helps tremendously. Jim, thank you much. Crowd, the people in the chat room have really enjoyed and really got some great tips out of your little talk here. So, thank you for being on, Jim. It was a great time. And if people want to reach out and check out things, where would they go to find more information about Jim Cerone?
Sure. JimCerone.com is my website, or you can find me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, LinkedIn.
You're all over.
Anywhere and everywhere.
Yeah, that sounds great. Thank you much again, Jim. Gang, we'll be back here in just a couple of minutes and wrapping things up on our final session with Jason Jani. Thanks, Jim. Tonight's DJNTV show is sponsored by the following: DJ Event Planner, Electro Voice, Max Photo Booth and DJ Booth Design, DJ Trivia and DJ Bingo, ProX Direct, NLFX Professional, Promo Only, Odyssey Cases, Perfect Portals, JMOZ Lighting, and Instant DJ Requests, along with the DJNTV Insiders at DJNTVtraining.com. So for some of you tonight, this might be one of your first experiences catching one of our DJNTV shows. And if that's the case, thanks for joining us. We've got a lot of great folks in the chat room that you will get to know over time here at DJNTV. We've got a couple of areas. Before Jason jumps on, I wanted to make sure we hit. First off, we have our DJNTV chill room. This is a Zoom room that we have set up. It's djntv.com/chill. And we do 2 shows, a recording of shows each week. On Monday night at 10 o'clock Eastern, we have our Hanging with Howie show, and Howie has guests that come in, and they will they do a topic. They do a topic of the week, and they record for about 20 minutes, and then after they are done with their recording, then they open it up, and it becomes kind of that hallway chat. On Tuesday night, Brian Red and Jay Brannon and Howie come back again at 10 o'clock Eastern and do a music show where they talk music, old music, new music, whatever. They chat about different music and things on that show. And then we get into Monday night, we jump back there at 9 o'clock Eastern. That's when Dan Carpenter and MJ and I, we usually do our weekly show. And then the recorded shows are dropped in. And Wednesday nights, MJ does his virtual DJ show once a month in the summertime. And so we got a lot of different things that are going on the channel and such. And you guys can check that out going out to DJNTV or youtube.com/discjockeynews. Gang, we'll be right back. We'll be back in about 30 seconds with Jason Jani. All right, we're back for the final session tonight, and we've got our anchor runner in the relay, Mr. Jason Jani. Good evening, Jason.
What's up, John? It's good to be here, man.
It is good to have you back here with us again. Jason's been on a variety of our virtual training. He's got a great YouTube channel out there. He's putting tips out there for the DJ industry. If you do not know Jason or you aren't following him, you got to get out there and follow him on Instagram. You got to follow him out there on YouTube because he's got a lot of great stuff.
I appreciate that.
Yeah,
Thank you.
good stuff.
Wow, awesome.
So my friend, I wanted to have you on tonight because we're talking with getting content, getting video, getting things, and you guys have just, as a company, your team has done such a spectacular job of utilizing the media of video, the media of photos in your marketing. So how do you guys approach that to make sure you're getting the quality that you guys do on a regular basis?
Honestly, I feel like if I could rewind just a second, because to kind of like set the foundation, I think it will maybe like aid the conversation a little bit. Yeah. And I realized like very early on when I was starting my business and growing my business that a lot of times I needed to justify, almost like prove my value to people that maybe had never attended one of my personal events before, or that didn't really know who I was. And I felt like the only way for me to do that outside of them being at one of my events was to capture as much content as absolutely possible. So I say that like this because a lot of what we do at SCE is super reliant and dependent on the media that we're able to capture within our team. And there are many different layers to the organization as a whole in terms of talent and roles and responsibilities and team members that are responsible for media. But I can say that I'm very grateful for my entire tribe because they firsthand saw how it helped not just myself, but it helped everyone going way out and reinvesting, into actually securing media every time we do an event. And now it's just a business principle for us. We're like, we go out and if we do an event that really we'd like to do more of, or we make it, it's like a mandatory role at that event. Like you would have a lighting designer to do lighting. You have a content either creator or capture person to frame out the media. But to kind of answer the question, we make this role part of our actual job function from the beginning. When someone comes in and they're like, hey, I want to roll with you, it takes a little while to do the courting process in terms of me investing my time and energy into someone. But as we onboard someone, one of the things that we work on with them outside of like the processes of the business and all the different things that we do is how to create content that fits the style of that DJ or the role of that DJ or, something that works within their team, because not everyone has super, like tech savvy support people and all of that kind of stuff. So there's a lot of different ways to unwrap it. And we kind of figure out almost a plan for every one of our team members, so to speak. But it's a big part of who we are at SCE. And I really appreciate you saying that kind of stuff about it.
So now when you're kind of unwrapping and designing something based on the individual person, are they the ones then in charge of coming up with that, or is it something that you have people on the more experienced people say, hey, I think that your style is more this, and to tell that story in video is more this way compared to, or I mean, who's coming up with that?
Well, I think it's a hybrid of a couple things. And first and foremost, I really, really try to inspire and encourage everyone to capture content in some way, shape, or form. If they're not capable of doing that, we have training programs within the company to kind of like guide people on how to use different stuff, whether it's more of like a one-on-one session with someone like Jeff or myself or Rico, who works on my team, or Bird, or one of the people that are one of our kind of foundational pieces of our overall organization. Sure. That's one thing, but I think the analysis that's done actually occurs after the fact, right? So we look at how the story unfolds, okay, and what the feedback is from the people that we are trying to serve that content to. And based on the feedback specifically from them, that's how we adjust our storytelling, so to speak, so that it fits kind of the positioning of the brand. Because unlike a lot of companies at SCE, I have 12 full-time hosts that that exclusively work for the SCE event group, and everyone has something that they're very, very strong at. We don't have almost like carbon copies of one another. We have people that may overlap with certain styles and stuff like that, but everyone really has their individual kind of role and differentiation from each other in terms of how they operate, maybe how much they charge, what they're technically able to do, and from a production perspective. And we try to position each individual host and their brand in a way that the content that's released from them connects to the people that most likely are going to look at acquiring those people. So like the story would be very different if someone has one view versus something else, right? So I'll take an example. One of our newest team members to the fold is a guy by the name of Chris Obando. And Chris Obando is a talented DJ that we've kind of had a relationship. I've had a relationship with for a while. And when onboarding him, I got to really learn and understand him and his culture, and his background is actually in music. And he played the trumpet like all through like high school and into college, and went to West Virginia and did like the whole, band thing in school. And after school, he started getting into DJing. So like he was already had the kind of the niche for mixing and even getting on the mic. But what made him really, really stand out for us is that he is a bilingual DJ, because his culture is from Costa Rica. So he's a fluent Spanish speaking DJ. So, a lot of times, like people will market, I'm a Latin DJ that can actually speak English and speak Spanish or whatever. Like we framed it differently for Chris, and he's saying, look, I'm an American. I'm just a DJ that can speak Latin, as opposed to the opposite, right? So It's like you appeal to two different worlds. And now a lot of the content that we create for him, or that he has created within his team and his organization, within our portfolio, really like shows off the heritage and the ways that he's able to connect with his couples in a way that he story tells and actually unfolds like whatever he just released a video, a really good video. It was like a Colombian family, and like it didn't, I don't want to say it permeated through the whole video, but like there was so much like culture like flipped into this. But like no matter who you are, where you're from, if you didn't say Colombia or have the flags, flying in the video, like you would just say this was a great wedding. You know what I'm saying? Like It didn't really it didn't pigeonhole him in one space. It kind of was a very wide and universal approach, but it really showed off his strengths and the things that people are seeking from our universe that like specifically go to him. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I really like that idea that you're really looking at, you're taking it kind of backwards from what do we want at the end user, the people that we're targeting, and we start with that, and then you come back and make that, or with that in mind, do the editing, do the content presentation type of thing. I think that is overlooked way too often.
I think that's like a really strong point of just kind of the content creation like conversation, right? A lot of times we as DJs want to pump out things that we're super proud of. But I think the thing that everyone who's creating content needs to really, really take into consideration, and this is something that like I think about every time I release a post, is how is that going to hit whoever's going to receive it on the other side, right? Like, so the story is very different. When I'm speaking to other DJs and I'm doing business kind of coaching and all this like tip stuff, like that conversation's a very, very different message than a conversation I have when I'm showing what I do, that I'm hoping will land and attract more of those like high-end production-based wedding couples or corporate clients that I work for. When I'm speaking to DJs, I'm talking a certain way. When I'm talking to this, I'm talking a certain way. And like, as you start to release content, you have to think about who you're trying to hit and what that message is going to be to them. And then the second part is, how are they receiving it? And the only way you're ever going to really know is by taking the time to review the analytics and the comments and the engagement of your content. If it's not hitting, then you need to kind of like shuffle to the right or shuffle to the left. You got to mix it up a little bit, because, you're just wasting your time if it's not landing it's a lot of energy, it's a lot of time, it could be a lot of money to create content, and if it's not connecting and benefiting you, you need to kind of adjust quickly, or it's just gonna kind of fall upon almost like deaf ears, so to speak.
And it becomes a huge waste of time and money, really, and that's something we don't want to have in our businesses.
No, not right now. Not right now.
Not a bit. Let's talk a little bit about the type of content you've talked about that your individuals are capturing content. Now, what kind of content are they capturing? Are they recording some of their events? Are they getting clips from events? What are they trying to capture to put that video together to tell their story to potential clients?
So we do a couple different things. I think what we try to do is first line is our first and primary content, I guess, piece is video. We're always trying to capture both horizontal and vertical video now at every one of our events, right? And you can look at like even what has recently happened with Nick Spinelli of SCE, and how one video shot over the shoulder with a cell phone could literally change the trajectory of this dude and his path for the near future, if not longer. And for anyone that doesn't follow Nick or doesn't know Nick, he shot a video of like what would be a normal kind of like play at one of the SE events.
Yeah, he did a couple of nice little mixes there. And
great mix, like wordplay, kind of like just having fun with it. And Santi, who's his right-hand man, caught the video and actually got the girl responding to it. Well, that video was shared on his TikTok and like literally struck gold. It was shared by Barstool Sports. It was picked up by a lot of different people. Even now, like some of the other videos after that, like Missy Elliott shared one of his videos. I mean, like his video has like 40 million views on it. And I mean, I can tell you firsthand that like it's connecting directly with the people that are there. So I think everyone needs to think about video, because now if you look at even what like Instagram is doing, is they're prioritizing video. And that's been like formally announced by Instagram, right? So like Instagram has always been an image-based platform that has primarily preferred horizontal landscape, footage or content. They then changed to a 4:5 ratio, and they just made the formal announcement, I believe, like last week or 2 weeks ago, that video is now the preference of the platform, and they are going to a complete vertical full screen, to compete with the TikToks and whatever. And if you look at what's going on in the world of tech, you have TikTok, which is growing at such it's like a mind-blowing rate of just access that you have for literally any content. And you look at platforms like YouTube that have always been the go-to are now shifting and now redoing certain things with introducing shorts, which is vertical content, and really trying to keep people on that platform. And that people always associate, I think, I was very naive about TikTok myself. I was like, I don't want to do this. I'm not going to do dances. I mean, and everyone's like, it's so much more than that. And I like didn't really want to listen. And I wish I did earlier, because the opportunity that sits in front of us all right now is incredible with this platform, because the algorithm is very different. You don't need to have a ton of followers or access to get something out to the masses. It just has to be really good and engaging. So I guess to boil it down, our first piece of content that we always try to capture is video. And at this point, we're trying to shoot both horizontal and vertical. Second would be images, and images, we try to do internally with some of our teams, but also we rely on, friends and colleagues that are photographers and people that we work with quite a bit as well for some of that stuff. And then we also have a whole portion of the company that does content, like in between our events, where we're doing like the introductions, and Jeff and Chris Atwood and even myself, we spent a lot of time trying to create content that can be done in our office or like off site from the venue. And we're actually storytelling about like what happened that day, and like kind of introducing it and cutting to like B-roll and different clips that we were able to capture. So we really have a really thought out process. I have some people on my team that the right-hand person, the assistant DJ, which is like one of the biggest roles that they can do, is help you capture content on site an event. So like everyone who's like oh, I only do events by myself. Well, like, I think you're selling yourself short, because not only will you have help getting in and getting out, and if something goes wrong or you need to do something, but
Yep.
you have someone that can help you capture content, and they don't need to be an expert anymore. And they don't even have to have great gear, because this iPhone can take great content if you know how to use it properly,
Yes.
you know, and as you kind of go from there, you know, then we have different levels. And even at my own events, I have Rico, who's like my photographer, and I also have a cinematographer with me at every one of my events. So I have RJ, who does all my capture of like video stuff, both horizontal and vertical, and then I have Rico that does images exclusively, right? So like they're there just part of my crew, and that's just something I've kind of evolved over time, you know, like as I've kind of changed the way I do my pricing and all that kind of stuff, I've been able to afford to invest in having people like that with me, which helps the day go smoother. It helps me acquire a ton of content. And, you know, now sitting in 2022, I can go back to any event I've ever done since 2009. And I have most likely video and possibly video and imaging from every event I've ever done. Like literally I have a 70 terabyte hard drive here. With just doesn't matter if I was speaking in Vegas, if I was DJing in Vegas, if I played out here, I played out there. Like I have content for more content than I will ever be able to scrub through.
You'll never watch it. You mentioned the telling the story, having the DJs or the folks there to kind of tell the story, to lead the video or walk you through the video. That's not just having someone sitting in an office in a chair talking to a camera like we're doing right now. You're trying to make it more interesting.
Yeah, I think you know, like that's kind of like the connecting the brand to how it's going to be received, right? So like I think people at different levels of any industry, and we're talking specifically about DJs, but whether you do Sweet 16s or you do, you know, weddings or you do corporate, if you're looking to really like get to the next level in terms of like what you charge or what you're able to do or the solutions that you can provide for your events, eventually you're going to get to a point where, you know, you're going to meet someone and they're going to say, okay, well, like you seem really nice and your stuff looks great, but like I need to see an example of like your work, right? So like the thing that we're talking about here is really like a way that our team can kind of softly go through a story of a day. Like I've done them where I sat down in my office and you have stuff going behind us. And like, it's like, hey, I love connecting with a couple and this is how I created this event. And this is like what we did together. It was a collaboration. Like they brought this idea. This is what we did with it. And then it like cuts to like what actually happened. And then, you know, it's just really cool. And that piece of content is facing or really like intended for like a person that's going to be booking that service, not to send it out into the world for other DJs to critique what I was saying. You know what I mean? It's more about like, hey, like, I don't really care like what you think about this, but the people that want to hire me, you know, like this is for them, not for like someone that's going to look at, you know, like not for another DJ to like, you know, go through it all, but you have to be mindful of like who's getting the content. And, you know, some of the on SCE's channel on YouTube, we have small following, videos that are insane, have small numbers like sub 500, sub 1000, right? Underneath that. And these videos, I can tell you, have almost like printed money for the business, because to me, it's not about the volume of hits or views on a video. It's the quality of those views. Cause that's at the end of the day, that's what really, really matters. Right. So like a video could have 100 views on it, but if you booked 20 weddings from that one video, like who cares if there's
very successful,
5,000, you know what I'm saying? Like it doesn't matter, you know? And that's really like, I think something that it's taken me a long time to understand that. And I share that because I think for anyone watching this, if you're kind of like getting into creating content and you're struggling with it and you're like, I don't really know if it's worth my time. Like I can tell you it's 100% worth your time. You have to make sure you're telling the right story, but you also have to not chase the numbers or the likes or the thumbs up or the comment. Like you can't do that. You have to chase what that does for you. And that ROI might not be even visible for 6 months or a year or 2 years, right?
Yeah.
Because people want to see a consistent story. You know, like I just booked a wedding that I showed them a video that I did from 2015. Like, because I don't have anything since that. I've been there since then, you know.
Sure.
That video still landed, you know, and it was like a great event, and I'm thankful, you know what I mean? But it was like, it connected with their story. It was at their venue. It had a bunch of production. The venue didn't really update much. So it's like, it's kind of the same, just a little bit different, you know, and it shows example of what you can do, you know, and that's really like what I think a great video can do. It really can work wonders for your business. And, you know, same with pictures, you know, like, you know, a lot of times we do these events and sometimes you struggle to get images back from photographers that maybe you know, or maybe you don't know, and maybe they're like, oh, I'll send it to you, but it takes them forever to get to it. So like my solution was like, I need to bring someone with me to take pictures.
Capture.
And, you know, like we started off with just what we could throw together. And now, you know, like we go to events and my camera case, I did a whole video on like what's in my camera case. And, you know, like we go with multiple cameras, I mean, like, you know, $50,000 in lenses, you know, and that's not even like DJ gear. This is like, it's just to capture content. But if I can look back at my entire life, my entire career, my entire business, if I say like anything that I've ever gained, it all can be tied back to releasing content and capturing content. Any opportunity that ever been presented, the root of that opportunity came from investing in this process of capturing and creating content. I can tell you it might be foreign for some people to hear, but I can tell you that being a great DJ is definitely important, but also like how you can tell your story to other people and the tools that you're able to use to convey that message is really, really, really a powerful tool if you're looking to take your business to the next level and consistently be working, you know?
So we got just a couple of minutes, Jason. Compare when you guys are putting the content together, what would be more important as far as the personality of the DJ coming through, or the visible results from the actions of the day? Which one is going to hit more with clients? Are they going to feel that they need to learn, you know, the personality of the DJ, or are they looking?
I feel like, to me, it's about the results before anything else, because I believe that you can release your personality through a Zoom call or a FaceTime or an in-person meeting of a phone call. Even they can feel if you're full of it or not. They can feel if you like what you do or not, just by the way you speak to them. I'm a big fan. I think every DJ needs to have a minimum of 3 shots of every, whether it be video or pictures of every single event that you do. And that is, this is what my setup looks like in this space. These are all the things that we're doing. There's up lighting, there's this lighting, there's that lighting, there's this. We have sparks, we have a DJ with whatever. A picture of your booth, completely like done up, like show ready. Like you're about to open up the doors, people are about to walk in the room. The next is whatever event you're doing, you need to have either the guest of honor or the couple or whatever you're doing, something that has them involved in a situation, whether it be all on the dance floor or maybe a first dance picture or a parent dance or a company, whatever. And then the next thing you need is as wide as you can, landscape mode, 0.5 on a phone, like all the way zoomed out. You need to show what the result is of all that you do and the things that you bring to the table. So like my favorite lens when I shoot video is a 20 millimeter lens or a 14 millimeter kind of like stretched out. I use all Sony equipment. I've got multiple Sony cameras. I love the super, super wide stuff. And I want you to see from like one wall to the other wall, and how if there's 300 people in the room, there's 12 that are in seats and the
others are on the floor.
180 are on the dance floor, you know, and to me, that's a compelling photo, or a video piece, not just for like that one event, but like when you can literally dig in and just show like, oh, well, this was this day and this was this day. And oh, this was 2 years ago. And this is like 5 years ago. And this is 7 years ago. And like the room changed and it's like the same results. I feel like that to me solidifies when you're speaking to someone, as long as you connect with them in a very like honest and real way, it solidifies that you know what you're doing and that they can feel comfortable if they're going to invest to have you part of their overall day. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
I know it's a kind of a long answer.
No,
but
that was good. That was good. You gave me exactly the story and the seeing the results of what they will be buying. I think is a very positive and very powerful. And sometimes I think as entertainers we get that they are going to they need to be able to learn about me right away off the top. But it's like but
you know what? I feel like listen, it's like people have to I feel like DJs need to stop thinking out of this like freelance mentality in terms of like events, right? And how you need to sell yourself and you have to you have to sell yourself. But if you are grateful enough to get someone on the phone with you or to meet with you in person or to get on a Zoom with you, I'm going to tell you that they've done their home. Like they've literally looked at your website. They've went through your Instagram. They've tried to search on YouTube. They've literally tried to find you on TikTok. Even if you don't have one, they're going to be looking for your content because people are not going to waste their time to talk to you about like who you are if they don't know that you're there and you're not a serious contender for the day. Even if you are outside of their budget or you don't even know what they're like, you don't know anything. So like the first thing that you shouldn't do, in my opinion, is come out and be like, well, I've been a DJ for 25 years and, I use state of the art equipment and everything I do is the best of the best. Like it's not about that. People need to stop and like rephrase this whole conversation to say like, dude, tell me about you guys. Like, what are you guys looking to do? Mm-hmm. Like get them talking, like show them that you actually care that you could be part of this event and then present maybe like things for them to think about or whatever. But people today, they might not know the full scope of what you do, but like, you don't have to book that day one. It actually like, you can kind of do it like throughout the course of once someone wants to work with you and they sign a contract with you, you have the opportunity of going back to them and having additional conversations. When you actually have a relationship, think of anything you've ever bought in your life. If someone came right out and started talking about, like if I was putting in a pool tomorrow and the guy for cement came here and he's like, my family business, we've done this for like 40 years. Like we're the guys, like everything we do is like, we use the best concrete mix there is. Like for me, I'm like, okay, like, but like how, like, tell me how you're going to do that. Like talk to me about like, you even know how I want this to look or tell me how you're going to do what you're going to do. Yeah. Don't tell me like the you part, because like, if I like you, then I'm going to ask you about that stuff, or like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
oh yeah, for sure. And there's even times where that's not important to them because that's not what they want. They want to know that pool is going to have a nice gradual. So there's going to be an end for the kids and there's going to be an end for the adults and we're going to have a great time and everyone's going to be safe.
100%. It's like, just talk about like, why you guys, the first question should be like, so why do you want a pool?
Yeah.
Like, how'd you come up with this size pool? I don't know. Like, whatever,
Exactly.
Like,
and it's like, well, I want kids and I want adults and I want a safe. And we're
like, oh gosh, you need a bigger pool.
Exactly. Oh, well, kids. Well, then we need to, have this little railing system that you'll want to get and you want to do this and that. Yeah. So, Jason, my friend, we got to bounce here because we are out of time. But thank you so much for being on tonight. I appreciate it. Some folks are picking up some great ideas. If people want to check out your channels, where can they find you?
So first off, thank you so much. And I always really appreciate you having me involved in this whole conversation. And I have lots of love for you, Dan, like everybody from the whole network. Just awesome. Just much love to everybody. So I just want to say thank you. And if someone's looking to connect with me, you can find me Instagram, Jason Jani, Jani, TikTok. It's I am Jason Jani. And then on YouTube is where I put a lot of learning content. I also am now dripping that out on my Instagram because that's kind of like my method, I think, to convey the some of the lessons and the things that I'm sharing. But I'm doing a ton of different varied content on YouTube, and our community is slowly but surely growing. And I'd love to invite any DJ looking to take their game up to the next level. Just search Jason Jani anywhere and everywhere on YouTube, and you'll probably see something stick right up. So just thank you. Appreciate it.
Sounds great. Thank you again, Jason. Gang, Howie or the children will be up at DJNTV.com/chill. I just put that into the comments section, which you'll see it before you hear it because of the delay. And then we'll catch you guys there. Jason, once again, thank you for being with me, my friend.
Thank you. Appreciate you guys. Thank you.
Everybody.